Preamble of research of person and personality. As I understand about the subject matter, research means to unknown, known to unknown, to fill the void, to bridge the gap, to find solutions, to define, to standardize, to achieve the purpose, to reach the goal, to target the aim, and furthermore unknown situations and scenarios of future, of the past situations and scenarios, of the present situations and scenarios, and also to find a sustainable solutions. Whether there is a scope for research? This is the fundamental query to be raised to sustain the quest in any said field. World is in quest to find sustainable and everlasting power for the betterment and well-being of the human. The great men and mighty minds are relentlessly putting their efforts unmindful of total failures, formidable obstacles, in an impossible situation, but with the zeal and zest at their disposal. Selflessly they are consuming their entire energies unmindful of the clock of time and making a tick of the clock smaller and little before their efforts in that direction of finding the sustainable power and everlasting power sources after they deduced in their thinking depletion and exhaustion of the available natural resources, and they realized that this planet Earth cannot sustain the mankind needs of the power requirement. Hence they leap forward to the other planets, from nearest planets to the distant planets of a solar system, and also trying to find suitable habitable planets in the other galaxies and in a distant universe. And accordingly, those men of the world means, of different countries, entered into a pact and agreed among themselves to share the booty of the planets, whoever could reach there with their own technological prowess. Those great men's search and quest is external and outward. There is saying about the energy conservation, 1 unit of electricity saving is equivalent to 2 units of electricity produced. It is giving me the understanding about the sustainability as production, conserving, saving. This statement is the word of caution. Inward search of primordial elements led to the discovery of number of streams of knowledge. With the help of that knowledge, so many useful discoveries were found and led to innumerable innovative inventions, thereby able to address the situations born out of surge of human population growth. As the population growth is unabated, in relation to their needs, the resources are limited and bound to be depleted in some given time. That inward search, which was oriented towards to the nature, forces and natural resources, I am compelled to say, it is limited and only to the extent of understanding the human, as that inward search is limited to the body and organ based, conduction and function based. As the wise said, the brain dependent body, mind dependent functions, human, people, persons, person and personality, an individual unit or member element. Sake, all the research, all the inventions, all the innovations are taking place to cater to that individual element, and utilization is entire. Natural resources and man-made resources too. The first step in the direction of man-made resource has taken place, i.e., the birth of software, where one of the mind powers called intellect is used with a very minimal utilization of natural resources when compared to the output given by the software technology. In comparison to the utilization of natural resources is mammoth and huge, making utilization of natural resources as a minuscule for the production. In that direction, the mankind has utilized, or the human utilized, his brain power of one-sided brain 1 to 3% overall. Utilization is 5% of his total brain in case of a genius. The geniuses are seldom countable on the fingers of one hand. With the powers vested with the human, he could tame, harness and utilize the kingdom of wild. He could tame, harness and utilize the kingdom of water. He could tame, Harness and utilize the kingdom of skies, and he is seriously attempting to tame and harness and utilize the kingdom of depths of the earth, and he seriously putting effort to harness and utilize all the natural powers and resources. With the power at his disposal is of 2% to 5% of the powers vested with him. But he could not tame his own energies. He could not harness his own powers. He could not utilize for his own good. He remained as an untamed, unharnessed, wild element to himself and to the human society. But his needs are very minimal, i.e., the food, the sleep, cohabitation with the fear as his identity. And to remain human, he needs clothes. In that sparsely used brain power, the mind power, the power of psyche, the power of spirit, the power of conscious, the power of thought, the power of heart, the power of vision, and the greatest power at his disposal is his willpower, which supersedes and surpasseth rest of every powers of human, which is a natural inheritance, came to his lot exclusively due to having the birth as the human. The willpower is the special power which is only with the human. The other power of organs might be used in the same equal proportions or a bit more. As a whole, the entire human body too might have participated. Here is the extent we found of the utilization of the powers, which are inherited as inheritance presented in the human, with the human, of the human, along with the extent. Automatically, limits are also spoken, and the limits are to the extent of utilization of the powers available with the human. With the extent and limit are clearly spelt out with the same breath. It has spoken about the scope also. Now, scope is unveiled. It is a huge vista. It is a horizon unending opened itself to the mankind, inviting the mankind with the open arms as a great welcome to come and participate in the gigantic task of unrevealing the mysteries of truth present in the deep depths of or in the bosom of the heart of the scope. The declaration is pronounced. The declaration is quest, search and research. The quest, the search, the research into one's inner being. The inner quest and search of the being is possible when you understand the being at first place. To understand, you have to adopt a systematic study, and that systematic study must be of a clear mind. Orderliness in thought process with the basis of logic and reasoning to be spelt rationally. Sharpening with the scientific temper of thought of study of human. What is human? The human is the one who has the physic, who has the mind, who has the psyche and has the spirit as the co-human and accepted by the civilized world as so. And his needs are food, sleep, cohabitation and identity fear, and who has within the state of child, the state of adolescence, state of adulthood, state of aged. His powers are the power of his body is whole, body prowess, the power of mind, the power of psyche and the power of spirit and the power of conscious and the power of thought. And with the utilization of thought power he put into use every power in and around of him, upon him, and upon the externals. The very word energy or power comes into existence. It becomes a principle, and another principle automatically takes a birth. That principle is taming, harnessing and utilization. Apart from this, another principle also takes birth, i.e., awakening and arousing, as there are inert strengths present in those principles. And another principle birth takes place, fusing principle and infusing principle, in order to enhance the strength. Another principle emerges, the principle of emerging. Another principle gets its birth, called principle of filling. Another principle gets emerged, known as learning, training, tuning, mending, turning, orienting. They all been born for one single principle called principle of utilization. These are all so few to quote. There are still unknown, unforeseen principles, as it is having its unfathomable depth. There is saying, to say. You can know the any depth of the ocean, but you cannot know the depth of the human heart. It's unfathomable. To do all, you need a means, you need a method, you need a practice, you need guidance, you need a guide, you need principles, you need theory, you need philosophy, and you need a training module. These are all gets birthed by the research only. And this research has a huge potential because with a 2% to 5% of the power the world is what is today. If you can enhance the say to an extent of 20%, what could be the world? If you could aim for 100, taking into consideration of all human pitfalls, failures, certainly with the help of research, we can achieve 20% to 25%. That itself is the greatest boon to the mankind. I propose the medium of meditation to undertake the task of research, the meditation based upon the heart of the spirituality. I can say with a conviction it is the surest means and perfect solution for the personality. It is a spiritual solution for the personality. Keywords and introduction. For the thesis paper. Keywords: human, complete human, person, personality, meditation, human states, physic, mental, psychic and spirit. Introduction. No electricity, no world. The world comes to stand still if there is no electricity. Dependency is so much upon the energy and power for the present day world. Abundant power of sun goes unutilized due to the lifestyle change. Extension of living extended, covering the night till the dawn. Sleep time extension during the daytime. The paradox: man possesses immanent inexhaustible powers at his disposal, but he remains as a power starved, always wanting more and more energy and more power. An insatiable urge. As he needs are ever increasing, thereby the demand for power is also on increase. By bringing moderation and balance in his life in general, in particular to his state's dependency on external energy and power can be reduced. The first step on the pathway of conservation has begun. The moderation and balance of living opened the chapters of saving. We have already achieved two goals. One is conservation, another is saving of the energy and power, both internal and external, while effecting a small modification in our living, and that modification is moderation and balance. Now, we have to address the third goal: awakening and arising inert energies and powers within us, thereby to enhance our sphere of individual and person towards the personality. An individual and person mean an individual and person only, not beyond. Personality, when the word used from the viewpoint of medical science in general. In specific from the viewpoint of psychiatry, it is to the person only who is an individual. But in relation to his inner depth and to his inner expansion, who could accommodate many than one, and who could cover expansively larger area and populace when addressing particular need in situation which has huge ramifications upon. Thence that individual, person, though an individual in person, but he could cover many and more large and huge areas due to his personality. Here is the role of the personality spelt. As a person, he is the same as a co-person. The personality is also same as a co-person too. But he could break the barriers of individualized centric personality and encompass many and more. Cover larger spheres. How could that be achieved? How that could be achieved only by few? Why? Wiseman with the wisdom says, learning and training form the core essentials for the human development. Learning speaks about learning but also of reading, studying, writing, understanding. Understanding includes meaning and sense and situation. To bring out awareness and to fill with the comprehension. When this stage is achieved, he is ready for the action. But for the action to be in action, the training is essential. The training spells the need, adoption and application of the principles of action and those to be perfected, knack and skill to be evolved and excellence to be resultant in conduction of action. So behind every personality there is a hard work. Longfellow says, "The heights of great men reached and kept, were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upward in the night." Personality acquires and possesses learning and training, knack and skill, disciplined expertise which are the personification of powers by themselves, and he has the full clarity about them in his mind. It means he awakened and aroused his mental power and physical prowess, and also his grit of the gut is at its best. Expansive heart helped him. Vigor-filled zest and zeal of the psyche full of its strength and power. The spirit of him is bubbling with churning raring to go with an action with a watertight pact. Action. The firm determination born out of the wisdom of maturity helps him to remain steadfast and, will. The special will ignites, charges, fires, bombards, explodes with action. Result is bound to come. Clinical analysis and minute observations of the above processes finds the one criteria and only criteria, i.e., one-pointedness, not scattered, in the personality. So to achieve any great tasks or huge ideal, a prerequisite is one-pointedness. Be of it, remain be of it, continue to be of it is further essential till you achieve the goal, rest not. Another important ingredient apart from one-pointedness is skillfully, tactfully, with a knack to achieve the perfection in action is also core essential. To achieve above all, a scheme has to be available. Means has to be evolved. It means it is talking about perfect principle of trainee, perfect principle of trainer and perfect principle of training module for an individual for the journey from person to the personality. Money is world. World is money now. Breathe to death, thereafter the death you need money. To achieve such a huge and gigantic task of person to personality and to evolve a personality, it involves time. It involves training. It demands knowledge. And it requires efforts of him and of others. Nothing is free in the world, whether you pay or somebody pays. From this lens, if we look at the task, it appears to be heavy duty. Of time, of efforts, of knowledge, of training, of sailing through force measure of a special situation. Cost, cost, cost everywhere, cost, everything is cost. Ancient wisdom of mankind did understand the intrinsic implications of time and efforts. Nuances of commerce and intricate networking of nature and natural forces and subtle connectivity. A formidable connectivity of human with the creation itself. Thence those men of mighty wisdom of ancient times schemed the life before the sunrise and concludes it with the sets of the sun that too along the water resources and around the fertile lands and near to the wild. Division of labor among the human society was practiced. Knowledge is free. Learning and training is at the cost of the teacher. That institution of knowledge centers maintaining them is the responsibility of the state exchequer. Need base is the life and living of the men. Unless the knowledge is free and freely available and training is free and freely available, the octopus tentacles of commerce cannot pierce and draws the vitality of the human society. The danger of transforming every activity of the human society as commerce or a trade or a business can be averted. So we need an easy method to practice, certain of results without any side effects. Adaptability according to his, her time and place. Dynamic in nature to come as handy of any situation and circumstances. Practicable practice by any age group with maturity without involving an expense of a single penny. Depends upon his need and necessary of an individual the practice time to be enhanceable. The result of such practice should be freshness in being, spirited in spirit, unwavering mind, clarity in thought process, heart free from malaise, joyful conscious, weightless and light in feelings. Oriented his self at the end of every practice session, which has the power of enhancement which human possesses. Less of diseases, more of vitality. To achieve the above objectives, I propose the means. That means is the meditation based upon the heart. I have taken the heart as the basis because the first sound of the heartbeat is the declaration of life, that the same stoppage of the same first sound is the declaration of the death. Brain is the seat of the mind. Heart is the seat of the soul. God lives in the humble hearts and simple minds. The saying goes, the birthplace of conscious states is the heart. The birthplace of the purity is the heart. The birth of all life ingredients is in the heart. The heart is the purification center of malaise. The heart is the pumping station of blood. The heart depicts the depth. The knowledge born in the heart enhances in the mind and brain. The tools and aids for the application of the method is mind is the tool. Conscious is the basis. And thought is the engine. When applied as one, the result is the meditation. The fruit of meditation is the concentration. When maturity taken place, it leads to the state of absorption, gives birth to the joy and bliss and ends as one. The training completed. The process concluded. The fruit is you only in completed form. To do meditation, airy place is a neat comfortable posture is an essential seat to be proper.